Hi, my name is Ryan Chua, and I'm the chief editor for Chaku. And here we have an interview today with Cassandra Yong at the Victoria and Albert Museum. She's working with BCG London, and she is also the winner of the H.G. Wells writing competition. So, without getting further ado, we'll just start on with the questions. Cassandra, hi. Thank you for doing the interview.
No worries.
Just to start off, can you tell us more about your award-winning story, Adrift, and tell us what it's about?
So my story Adrift is came out of me having a discussion and kind of reminiscing with my grandparents
Yeah.
about our family history, because there's a lot of interesting history in my family. And one of the stories that one day came out was about my great grandmother now, who I had not heard anything about before, and this really interesting story about her life unraveled. Um, her her life story begins in around the turn of the 1900s,
Oh.
and she was brought to Malaysia from China, where she was sold as a child bride, and I found out about this really hard life that she'd had as she and grew up in another household, and she got married and had her own families, and how she went through all the hardships, and I found it very inspiring, and I thought it was something that I should somehow record down as a family piece of our family history.
Right, I see. Uh, so, can you tell us more about your grandmother and why she was so instrumental towards the story? Like, what particular bit about her that, inspired you so much to writing a story like this?
Yeah, sure. So my great grandmother now, it struck me that it was almost 100 years later, and that I was living now, and our lives were so completely different from each other, and she went through all these hardships, and she somehow managed to get through them with her family, and she managed to raise a family, raise her children, bring herself out of a really tough situation, and her hardships brought me to where I am today, and I wouldn't be able to live the life that I'm living, this kind of dream life, without her and her determination.
Right, I see. Uh, what inspired you to pursue creative writing?
So I've always loved stories, I've always loved reading, but creative writing was something that did a little bit of at school. But then as I grew up a bit more, it became something like a hobby and a way to relax and to escape to another world and imagine myself in a different situation. And it helps you really learn about the world and different experiences.
So, do you write very often then?
Yeah, I write about various different things that grab my interest, whether it's fiction, so the historical fiction, or it might be something a bit more scientific fiction, or various pieces of fiction, in whatever grabs my passion.
I think one thing that's very interesting is that you enjoy writing, but actually you actually major in mathematics. So,
Yeah.
which do you actually prefer, literature or mathematics?
I think it's hard to say that I prefer one over the other. Writing is a hobby for me. It's a way of relaxing. It's just a way of unwinding. It's something I do for pleasure. Whereas doing mathematics, it's something for me to explore and learn and develop as a person.
Yeah, I see. That's interesting. And having studied math throughout your tertiary education, was it difficult picking up or, just finding time to write since, you try and write as you can?
Okay, so I did some I was allowed to do a creative writing course at
Yeah.
Imperial as part of my degree, as one of my modules of my mathematics degree, and so it really helped to make space
Yeah.
in my time studying. But it was still a different mindset that I had to be in. So it was switching from being solving problems to trying imagining and being creative.
I see. All right. And you know, having written this story, do you fa- what was there any aspects to it that you found it to be challenging? Maybe like a mental writing block or
Yeah, so it was quite a challenging process. I thought because it was based on a real story, I thought I had the storyline all figured out and the structure. But as soon as I started writing, I realized that that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
There were a lot of challenges in trying to do justice to my great grandmother's life and try to tell all the aspects of her life. And so I tried various different methods. There was at one point I tried doing a flashback version of the story. I tried putting her in a coma and it's in her brain, just
Right.
thinking and reminiscing about her history, about her life. But in the end, I decided for almost episodic approach to the story where I
I see.
was writing and setting a date and a place and then writing what happens from her viewpoint.
Right. In that case, can we ask for your perspective? What makes a good story?
I think you can have so many different styles of writing and there's so many different kinds of genres. So it's no easy answer to what makes a good story. But I think a writer's passion always comes through in your story, and so you always have to be passionate about the topic that you're writing about in order to kind of make and draw your reader in and carry your reader along with you.
All right. Uh, I think one another thing that we found it very interesting was that not only are you a great writer, you've also been a model student and graduate. Considering that you studied math in Imperial, you graduated with a master's there, and you're now working at Boston Consulting Group in London, which is a big consulting firm in the world. So perhaps can you shed some light on how it was like being a student in Imperial and now working at BCG?
I think I'm very flattered that you say I'm a model. I think that it's I think life at Imperial is like any other student. You kind of study, you enjoy yourself. It's about getting your experiences in life, and I think doing internships really helped. So I did a number of internships throughout my university career, which I think helped get me my job at
Right.
BCG. Um, and now working life, it's very different from the student life.
Really? How
That
so?
it's during the week, and then you get your weekends, and it can be intense, and there's always something bigger at stake, and
Right.
it's a lot more motivating. I feel.
Right. Uh, Speaking more about the working life. What have been like the challenges that you face? Working at BCG and especially in a place like London. Where there's so much challenges everywhere. And the challenges get even bigger or more at stake, I guess.
Um, it's a fast-paced life.
Yeah.
It's and you learn a lot on the job, and you learn with experience through projects as you do them. But there's also a very nurturing environment, and people take you along, and they help you learn, and they help you understand, and so everybody's incredibly willing to help you along that journey. Um, yeah.
Does it is it hard trying to maybe adapt to the working culture, or is it easier? Does it come easier to you?
I
Or
think, like I said, I did a couple of internships
yeah.
leading up to it, and so I think that really helped me adjust to working and getting myself in that mind frame of the kind of corporate culture a little bit more. But it also comes as you are in that environment and you watch people and you just kind of settle into it.
Right. And how long do you plan to work in BCG, or maybe do you see yourself one day maybe deciding to go back to Malaysia and I don't know work
Yeah.
there?
Um, I think I've been given an incredible opportunity at the moment working with BCG, and it's opened up my world to all the possibilities. So I think for now, I will just be exploring where my career takes me.
All right. That's good. Just one last final thing. What advice would you give to young aspiring writers, hoping to write a great story as great as your story?
I think just pick a topic that you're really passionate about. It goes through, and you're gonna hit writing blocks, and you'll go through a lot of problems writing your story, and your passion about the subject is gonna pull you through and help you finish it.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for doing the interview, and that's it. Thank you.